Now comes our time for the general public presentation comment period. Public presentation time is intended for an opportunity for the public to give input on relevant issues, not intended as a question or an answer period. Do we have anybody, Mrs. Mouse?
Yes, Sarah Downs.
Your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Sarah Downs, and I live at 1492 Mallard Place in Front Royal, Virginia, at 22630. And I would like to thank you all for your time. And I will be quick. I will be discussing a proposal that was brought before the council at the last meeting. I'd like to thank you, Chairman Mabe, for the concerns I would like to thank Chairman Mabe for the concerns he shared and the swift decision he made to suggest that a militia would not be the best idea for our county right now. I couldn't agree more. The Constitution indeed calls for allowing people to create a well-regulated militia, and this is very much accomplishable when under close leadership and under the guidance of other law enforcement personnel. The concern I have with the proposal is the timing. Our county and our state have had quite a lot of transitions in the past year, and I believe that these transitions have caused divisions along the political spectrum that could affect a bipartisan effort, such as the development of a militia. I'm a student currently studying at Shenandoah University, and I'm studying political ideology in depth. And one trend that has continued since the 1990s is the trend for a militia to assimilate or acclimate to a certain political ideology that usually identifies with an extreme, may it be on the left or right side of the political spectrum. With this information in mind, I would like to urge the council to not give the proposal much consideration for a long while. We need to make sure that all of our county citizens are safe, and ensuring our safety, we need to urge our county and its citizens to trust in our current law enforcement to do their job in protecting all rights in our county. I hope to see in the future that this county and the board will support all gun holders and protect them through supporting local law enforcement by providing educational and training classes. But I would also hope to see that law enforcement enforces laws that protect all citizens, especially those most vulnerable to violence of any type, like children, women, and people who fall in a minority group. I hope as a county, we can all refocus our attentions towards supporting our local law enforcement personnel. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
Jesse Lipinski.
Is Jesse still here?
Yes, sir. I apologize. Actually, I got stuck in the seat. My name is Jesse Lipinski, 64 Eagles Crag Road, Front Royal, Virginia. I'm going to bring up a topic that that young lady just spoke about. It's something that I doubt we're going to hear the last of this evening. It'll probably be something that is a topic of conversation for a while to come. I have it on good faith that these laws in Richmond, our point as Second Amendment supporters has gotten through to Richmond, but they are going to pass laws regardless. That being said, I'm here tonight to present and gain support for a resolution that's been drafted by a team of lawyers that strongly supports the Second Amendment. It's commonly referred to currently as Virginia 113. It is in reference to the Constitution of Virginia, Article 1, Section 13, and it is essentially a recognition of and a call for muster of a county militia. Now, it does not create any new organization. it formally acknowledges what is already existing, that the body of the people is the militia. It is currently what is supposed to be according to the state and national constitution, the U.S. Constitution. What it would do is create a network of volunteers. What it's not designed to do is create an organization that everybody has the image of the 90s guys in camouflage fatigues coming out of the woods. That is not what this is designed to be. It would supplement the current existing emergency response forces. It would be directly in support of law enforcement and other types of first responders. It would enable members of the community, citizens of the county, to have access to training and life-saving techniques, first response techniques, first aid. This is a rural community. First responders aren't always a short distance away. We're already there as individuals in the community. We support each other. We're there for each other. This would create a structure to build on, and at the same time provide legal protections against any further future encroachments on our Second Amendment rights. There is a well-established precedent since prior to the founding of our nation. It would provide oversight by the county sheriff's department. They would be working in direct contact and direct coordination with the sheriff's department in the organization and training of any volunteers that are willing to lend their time to the community as a support. That being said, I don't know what the procedure is, but I would love to present this to you for review.
You've got a copy, we'll be happy to take it.
Absolutely. Again, I appreciate your time, and as I said, it's not the previous image of what everybody thinks of a militia. It is what already currently exists. It's just a formal acknowledgement of it, and it is entirely in support of our current law enforcement first responder structure, and it gives our citizens another layer of protection against any further future unconstitutional laws.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Paul Gabbert.
Hello again, Paul Gabbert, 1221 Valley View Drive. A few comments before I get into my main comment. Ms. Collins, I too have the accounts payable and things highlighted. Usually, before the three new members got on here, Mr. Stanley would have pushed it by and it would have been passed. Nobody would have looked at it. Nobody would have cared about it. Our tax money would have paid for everything on here, no matter what it was. There's charges on here to Lowe's, to the hardware, to Napa, all these places around town. $5, $10, $15. What is that? That's and when I had meetings with investors, whether it was one investor or multiple investors on commercial office buildings, if I took this in here and laid that in front of them without backup or purchase orders and invoices, they would have laughed at me. They would have fired us. They wanted to know where the money was going, not just, here you go, pay it. I will say that on some of the budgets and on some of the other money that was approved was only approved by 3 members of the old board. There was 2 that voted no on several of the issues. I see our county administrator and I see Mr. Carter coming up tonight. I've been watching their facial expressions. They're coming up with all kinds of reasons on why we should go ahead and spend the money on the roads, on this, on that, on this. It's like the budget doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter to them about what state the county is in.
Never did.
Everybody, before you all were in office, is guilty of where the county's at now. Every person, including the EDA board. The main topic I wanted to get to was about the militia. And I don't want to, you know, well, I'll probably piss off some people, but I'm not looking to take guns away from people. I question some types of guns that are out there. When I was a kid, I was hunting with every type of gun when I was 10 years old. But I wasn't hunting with an AK-15. If I didn't shoot what I was shooting at, if I didn't kill it with one shot, I was laughed at. I didn't need multiple rounds to kill something. We've never had a need for a militia. Never, ever. I don't believe that we'll be attacked by a foreign nation with ground troops. I don't think that will ever happen in the United States. I know it won't happen. I do see the chance of another Kent State tragedy, and those of you that are my age know Kent State tragedy. It only takes one individual to make that tragedy. Who would be responsible for the legal issues, the legal aspects of a militia? Who's going to take care of the lawsuits for accidental deaths? But let me show you this. If you go on down to the Fifth Amendment, nobody has to take care of it. Because if a militia is called out by the sheriff, the law enforcement, and a part of that militia happens to shoot somebody, they are not guilty of it. Because they're part of the militia and they are called out by the authorities. They are not responsible for shooting and killing somebody. And I hear all this about the Second Amendment. And it's like everything that has never been updated through the political system. You know, the Second Amendment was written back when there was a single-shot musket. And militias were made because we were protecting ourselves from the British. But militias go way back. Militias go back to the early 700s. There was many types of militias. They just weren't called militias. There was a gentleman that spoke 2 weeks ago, said a militia is a God-given right. I will have to disagree with that by saying the only God-given right is you will be welcome to heaven if you follow the 10 Commandments. Every grade beyond that is a political right given by man. Let's not bring God into this argument. I was in a conversation with a few guys who want a militia. They want to form the militia. They want to be part of the militia. One of them brought up the AK-15. Why so many people were against the AK-15? He said it's no more than a 22 caliber bullet. It won't kill anybody. That's what he said. It won't kill anybody. And this is a man who wants to be in a militia, thinking a 22 won't kill somebody. I was so in shock that I couldn't tell him, I couldn't look him in the eye and say, I lost a brother-in-law who was killed by a 22 bullet. And then I wanted to do more to him. As I said, I'm not looking to take guns away from anyone except criminals and the mentally unstable. But then in today's climate, one can be stable one day and not stable the next day. So what's the answer for that? I'm one of many county residents who believe there is no place for a militia. Let's leave that in the hands of the military and the local law enforcement. After the Civil War was fought, militias became less useful. They were taken out. There was no more militias. They became state volunteer units formed, which ultimately became the National Guard. So that's where your militias are today. They were the National Guard. That's where the militias ended up at. So as for one, as a county resident, I don't see any reason, and I don't see anything good about a militia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gabbert.
Craig Anderson.
Good evening, everybody. Craig Anderson, 110 Sunset Lane, Linden, Virginia. Does that sound okay? Yeah, been here for since 1984. Had a couple things, just like a fish out of water up here, but had a couple things, and that knocked me out of sync. Because one of the things was I wanted you to realize that the Virginia Constitution, Article 1, Section 13, recognizes a militia, and then Section 44, Code 1, recognizes an unorganized militia as virtually every able-bodied person aged 16 to 55. That's in the Virginia Constitution. And I went down and I actually got a sit down with our sheriff. And he says, nope, I'm the militia. So I was somewhat disappointed. He did say that he would be working with our Commonwealth Attorney, Mr. Bell, with red flag laws. And I hope so. It would be up to him if somebody was prosecuted, how that should terrify anybody, those red flag laws. Can be prosecuted at and your neighbor doesn't like your weapons are seized, and then you got to prove you're innocent. So I don't want to ramble on and on that, but this VA 113, and I'll give you a copy of it. If that's not what he gave you, call to muster.
Call to muster of unorganized militia
Oh.
of County.
Well, it's a hard read, really. There is a whole lot in there. I like the line myself where it said it won't be political, we won't be carrying signs. My vision of a militia, what it would be good for, is it wouldn't demonize us gun owners. If we could, I'm willing to pick up trash. I'm willing to mow grass on the strip out here. Let the sheriff's deputies watch us if there's a concern, if there's a fear. We're not going to instill fear. That would be my number one goal of a militia, because us gun owners have been demonized. So that's part of what I wanted to say, kind of out of sync. The other thing I want to say is I too was in the rally day in Richmond on Martin Luther King Day. And what a better way to honor Martin Luther King. You know, his gun rights were, he couldn't have a gun. I think it was concealed carry, whatever, but he wasn't allowed to get. He would be with us. I told my neighbor that. He said he was going to church, he couldn't be there. Yep. And I want to say I am so proud of us gun owners. We were just so well behaved. The police loved us. We were herded into a cage set up by Governor Northam. Into a cage and herded like cattle. We were harassed with helicopters. Couldn't hear the PA system. But we were so well behaved. We picked up our trash. We were shaking hands with the police. I had a little laugh with one of the police. And when are we going to tar and feather that? You know what? Had a little laugh with them. One of the police officers told us, over on the sidewalk, please. That went a long way with me. I really appreciate, and they loved us. So, and the other thing I'm going to hit you with here is a great big one if you don't already know. Have you heard about that House concurrent bill, Resolution 8? West Virginia has done that in January 14th. What it is an invitation. It's an invitation for Virginia to, their words are better than mine, to additional territory to be admitted to and become part of the state. They got some great stuff here at Word, and I'll give you a copy of this. About the attitudes of neglect of the interests of the citizens. You know, that's why they split, why they irretrievably divided. And they talk about disproportionate share of the tax burden. That hit home with me. They're talking about where all the tax money is going to Tidewater in Northern Virginia. They also say in here about the Shenandoah Valley and Southwestern Virginia and Piedmont, how we can become part of West Virginia. And then they really hit home here. The latest of the most evident string of grievances is our intolerable restrictions on the Second Amendment. They don't mention all the other amendments that's going to get violated with red flag laws. But, and this just isn't just some pipe dream. They got Article 5, Section 1 in there. That's where we can be admitted. Then they're going to vote. When they're going to vote, when we can become part, there's a line in here where we can sign our name. This isn't a great big pipe dream. Why? And I know it's a Herculean task to ask you to do, but ultimately we'll have to, because the way we're headed politically, the next president we'll have one more constitutional president in here, and after that we won't have votes because of demographic shift. Now that's where they get illegal aliens to come on in, and the Democrats know that the illegal aliens, the uneducated and illegal aliens are going to vote for free stuff. Democrat Party is the party of free stuff. We won't be able to vote in another, Constitution that'll be the end of the Constitution if we don't do something like this. And I don't know, am I the first guy to hit you with this?
No, sir, you're not the first guy that hit us with it, but we can ramble on a long time, and I'm not trying to belittle you at all, sir. I'm honestly not.
Well, that's pretty much what I had anyway. Yep. Imagine us out there picking up trash, and we wouldn't be demonized so with our scary-looking rifles. And our sheriff told me that, yeah, you don't need that rifle. Well, the Jews, when they were getting loaded on the train, they needed that rifle. The purpose of that rifle is defense against tyranny. So, okay, sorry to ramble on here, but...
no worries. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
You were going to give us something else to read?
Sure.
And I believe that we're all happy to read that.
Please do. It's a hard read. But call the muster. You got that one? Here is the House concurrent. There's one more for West Virginia.
There's nobody else.
Nobody else? Harold, do you still want to talk?
Sure, I'll do so.
Thank you, Mr. Becker.
No, back here. This last.
Oh, I'm sorry. We got
Well, we got two Harold. Let him go first.
We got two Harold.
Let this gentleman go first.
Oh, Greg, I'm sorry.
Don't worry. Go ahead, sir.
Greg Harold, 420 Timber Ridge Drive, Front Royal. I'm here as a citizen, not as any type of official. I want to say that what I saw here was interesting this evening. A lot of disconnect. Not dissension. Dissension's good, but disconnect is bad. Maybe in the future, the new Board of Supervisors ought to have a more robust onboarding program. So when situations like approving accounts and appropriations and transfers on the night of the board meeting, so you're actually more prepared for that. Those services have already been, I'm sorry, those services have already been rendered. They're waiting for payment. You can review the invoices, but the work has already been done. I do agree that the appropriations need to be reviewed. I review those when I get those. There's some questionable items. As a citizen, I can't ask about all of them. But remember the people that have performed services for the county. those are the paychecks that you're holding. So it's very important that that be resolved in a timely manner. That's all. Thank you very much. Thank you for your recording.
Well, you're welcome, and I will counter just what you said.
Please do, absolutely.
Harold Bagley, 327 Liberty Hall Road, Front Royal, Virginia, 22630. I disagree with what this gentleman just said. How can y'all be prepared when nobody gives you the information that you need to be prepared? And second thing, I don't think one check is going to break anybody that works for the county. If it does, they better go to work someplace else. And I got a few other things I'd like to say. This Shenandoah Farms roads, the subdivisions, where's this at? Explain this to me. Can you explain that to me, Stanley?
Mr. Chairman, would you like to be the?
Yes, I'd like for you to.
Well, wait a minute. Mr. Bagley, what is your question?
Where is this Shenandoah Farms subdivision? When did it start? And why is the county taking over these roads? I would like an explanation, then I'm going to give you my opinion, if I could, sir.
You can help me a little bit, because I'm new on this one.
I am too.
I mean, that's my district,
Yes, sir.
and it's up on Houseville Road,
Yes, sir.
all the way towards the Clark County line.
Toward the river.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And it runs along the river, and it runs out in the mountains. And
I
all of that.
thought I was correct. So,
Okay, I mean, can I answer any more for you?
yes, sir. I would like to know why. When those people started in there, it was nothing but pig paths. They knew this when they went in there and bought these places. I would have not bought there. And number two, why should I pay to have their roads paid? Y'all don't pay my driveway. Why should I pay their driveways and their roads? It's what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I pay taxes so it's like anybody else. I want the same return for my dollar as you give it to them.
If you request
Yes,
from
sir.
VDOT,
Sir,
if you request to get your road paved, all you basically got to do, and Mr. Childers, help me if I'm incorrect, but you build a road that is somewhat, or it is VDOT compatible,
okay.
and VDOT pays 50% of the paving, and county pays 50%, or 50% of the other 50%, so they're paying 25%. Shenandoah Farms, they're paying 25%. So county is not paying all of that.
Well, now I understand that, sir. So in other words, the state pays 25,
No, the state pays
50,
50%.
then the county pays 25,
Yes,
and
sir.
I pay 25. Is that correct?
No, Shenandoah Farms will pay 25, and the county will pay 25.
Well, I want my driveway, I'll bring it up to 50 foot wide, I'll bring it up to state stats. I want the county to pay the 25, the state to pay the 50, and I'll pay the 25, and I'll get a good deal.
If your road
I'll bring it up
has
to there.
10 people on it, 10 people on the road, 3 per mile,
There's where my.
there's a
That's where I'm
consideration
messed
for
up.
that.
Mine's about a quarter mile that's on the knee on it.
Well,
You see, I don't qualify. But my taxpaying money is going somewhere else, and I can't get no good at it, where other people's getting good at it. Make it where we can all get good at something instead of just a few. This tax money is for everybody, not just singled out for a few. And that's all I got to say. And, excuse me, I appreciate the new board putting things on hold and not paying everybody's bills and ram this thing through like y'all did before. Why shut the barn door when the cows has done got out, mister? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Benjamin. Any additional comments from anybody in the audience?
I'm going to smoke now. Y'all can have it, baby. They don't like what I
Second.